Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Profitable Private Practice Podcast. My name is 𝐏𝐫𝐤𝐧, and it is a pleasure to be here with you. I come on here and I interview doctors who are thriving, where the common narrative is that private practice is dead. And I'm here today to show you that it most certainly is not dead. So today I have Dr. Shanta Shepherd with me. Hi, Dr. Shanta.
Hi, Chetha. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me here on your podcast.
Yes, I'm so excited to do this. So why don't you go ahead and give us a 60-second introduction of yourself?
Sure. My name is Shanta Shepherd. I'm a board certified urologist based in Connecticut. I have been in general in practice out of training for almost 5 years and recently opened up my own private practice about 7 months ago.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
amazing. And so when I like to interview people, I like to do deep dives and figure out things about them. So I was doing a deep dive on you, and I figured that you worked in public health roles in India and in Central America. So that's amazing. One. And I think I also was looking at it, and it was like said that you were fluent in Spanish and in English, right? So what is
Mhm.
something you learned during that time that still serves you today?
Great question, and I appreciate you for doing that little bit of background research. So, not a lot of people know, but my first love was not medicine; it was actually public health. And for me, I've always wanted to give back. I've always wanted to serve, and it was less about giving and more about how what role do I play in society and in paying it forward. And I thought about, okay, so there's infrastructural issues in the world, there's educational issues, there's health issues, and I thought and felt that I had the potential to have the most impact through the lens of public health, and in particular, global health. And so that's sort of how the trajectory started. And I did not get introduced to the idea of going into medicine until later on, while in the trenches in the field and in public health and working with refugees. And it really changed my life. And so here we are today.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So then let's talk a little bit about like the first moment you entertained the thought of becoming an entrepreneur. Like what was that?
Mhm.
When did that happen? What was it like? What was going through your mind?
Terrified. The reason for being terrified is because I didn't. You can't know everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know what you know what you don't know, but then there's you don't know what you don't know as well.
Yeah.
And so understanding that there was a lot of unknown, but also knowing that what I did know is that it is a lot of work. And, I think there's fear of failure, but there's also fear of success. Like, okay, I do this and then what? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what are the
Yeah.
responsibilities? How is it going to change lives, not just for the better, but, my life, my family's life? Is this a responsibility that I'm willing to take on? And, I actually come from a decent family of entrepreneurs. And so I had an idea of, how I know what it takes to work. I know how to work. I understand where that comes from. So the doing the work part wasn't intimidating to me. But this definitely was a direction that I think um, is different. It was different for sure, and in a time when everyone around is saying either don't go into medicine, or private practices is a dying phenomenon in medicine, literally going against the grain, against the ocean's current,
Yeah.
is kind of how it felt. And there were a lot of people who were, when I had little whisper seedling thoughts about it, were like, that's terrible idea. That's crazy. No one's doing that. And I knew that somewhere there were people doing it. And I'm going to be honest, discovering EBS, discovering your mom's podcast has been game changer, because it shed light on the fact that no, I'm not the only one. This isn't some crazy outlandish notion that
Mhm.
we can make a change. Yes, we can go against the current, but you know what? Together we can change the tide.
Yes. Yeah, that's really good. And then, so walk me through it just a little bit. Like, what needed to happen between that moment that you had that thought and then when you launched your private practice?
I would say the the seedling idea, the feeling in your heart was there for a while, and I sort of sat on it and thought about it for a long time. And I think the turning point was, I know exactly when the turning point was. It was actually around, maybe just maybe about 13 months ago last year, excuse me. And so not that long ago, the turning point was in the fall of 2024, when things were changing, and changing very rapidly in the practice that I was working in, and just the environment. And it was one of those moments of, now it's now or never. It's like you
Mhm.
bet on yourself now, or you regret it in the long term. And I took the opportunity, and I've never looked back. I've never been more proud of the decision to go forward.
That's good. And then, so how important is it for you to build a referral base? Like, what has building that referral base made possible for you?
It's everything. It's everything. It The referral base is a community of people who trust and value your opinion. They trust and value your work ethic, your bedside manner, how you interact with and treat other humans who are their patients, right? How responsive you are to not only them in their referrals, but also if they have particular questions or concerns, being able to pick up the phone and have a conversation about a patient. Small acts of kindness, if you will. It seems very trivial or unimportant, but it really goes a long way, and it really means a lot when having that personal touch. And so the referral base, when you are that kind of a person, right? You are showing up genuinely, authentically. People, not only are the patients then coming back with positive feedback, um, but they also will then be more inclined. Like, I have people come in, and they're like, oh yeah, I had this issue, and X doctor said, "Oh, you have this problem. You have to see Dr. Shepard. You can't see anyone else." And that to me is one of the greatest form of thanks. It's the greatest sign that I'm on the right path, that I'm trying to do the thing to have that impact that I set out to have
Mhm.
many, many moons ago.
Yeah.
And your referral base is not just one-way street, it's a two-way street, right? Because I look to them and I send patients out as well. I've got patients who need primary care providers. I've got friends who need, different types of, specialists or other doctors and providers, and maintaining that relationship is everything. Relationships, that's what it is. Your referral base isn't just how you get patients. It's a community, it's relationships.
So, how did you start building your referral base?
I will say that I have been very fortunate, in the sense that, where I am in Connecticut, it's a relatively small community, and a lot of us know each other. And so people have been getting to know me over time. And one of the things that I prioritized when I made the decision to open up my own practice was to reach out to my Dream 100, to my referral base, and say, hey, listen, there are some changes. Happy to announce that, I've created this new practice. It's called Elevate Urology. And, you know, we are so feel so happy and privileged to serve your patients, and would love if you would continue to refer to us, and please let us know how we can serve you as well, right? So it's the exchange of energy. Thank you for already doing what you do. I am here and available to continue to serve. Please let me know how I can serve you better and more. And it's in the vein of giving, of service. And I think and locally being present, right? So your network is your net worth. So being able to go to different events, and even if you think it's maybe not related to your particular interest, but being able to meet others and engage with them and ask them about themselves, and again, same thing, service. How can I serve? That's been huge. I think patients are also a decent referral source too, because they spread the word, and that is also another great form of thanks. That you know well, if you enjoyed your experience, please don't let me be your best kept secret. Please go out and share that. And it's real. And I engage, and I say that probably daily.
That's
Okay.
good. That's
Yeah,
amazing. I think I have to start doing that, build my own referral base.
that's
But
right.
I did have a question, and it's like, so how has um like, you have to talk to strangers, right? So I won't
hmm
imagine like you were in Connecticut, all of a sudden you knew everybody. Like, how
hmm
has building the referral base, like, so far helped you with talking to people maybe that you don't know, but that have a certain impact inside of the community that you're in?
I would say, I suppose for me as a surgeon, there's a few different ways. So, I meet other surgeons and other providers in the hospital, in the operating room. We might assist each other on different cases, and I might refer, for various reasons. But there are local chamber of commerce events. There are innumerable local events, charity events, and you will find hospital personnel, you will find physicians, you will find all of these people. There are multiple opportunities to approach and engage in, and being a part of something greater than yourself. I think is a really big way to meet the strangers. And then they say there's 6 degrees of separation between different people, and the truth is that you're you will have a reputation, right? And so understanding who you are, it'll always be consistent. And someone, you might meet someone, and then they say, oh, I met so and so, oh yeah, she's great, they're this person. And then it's a confirmation of, oh yeah, that's the kind of person I just met. And so that's a nice confirmation that they genuinely are that. I don't know if I answered your question,
You
but
did. Yeah,
okay.
you did. It was just
Okay.
like, wasn't one of the ones I had planned, but it just came in. I was like, oh, okay, let me just ask it. So that's good. And then, so I know you're an EBS. You did mention it within like one of the
hmm
second questions I asked you. And at our last vision retreat, you mentioned that you're never leaving. So why is that?
I did say that. um, I'll tell you why. You ever go somewhere and experience something, and it just feels right?
Yeah.
It just feels like home. That feeling. You ever go somewhere in the world, anywhere, and you're
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, this feels like home,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
I've never been here. I've never been around these people, but this feels so familiar, feels so good. that EBS is home. And, um, and, you know, I I also learn from others. I am not someone who has to make every single, like, not mistake, but I don't have to, like, I was very, very, very good at observing other people's behaviors and deciding what to do and not what to do based off of what their outcomes were. And if I'm being honest, even before I knew that EBS was home and that I wasn't leaving, there were several people that I spoke to who joined EBS, present for a year, left, came back after a year. And I specifically, I remember having at least two conversations with people who had left and come back. And I said, okay, well, what was your reason for coming back? And they were like, I didn't grow. Like on my own, left to my own devices, I felt so comfortable. I had done all of this work. I was on, like, cloud nine, on top of the world. And then when I looked back at the following year, I all of these things had just stagnated. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't EBS alum who aren't crushing it every day, who don't keep the principles and aren't, doing the thing and are just winning. That is absolutely true. Like, EBS forever in your heart, right? But there is something to be said about being in a space surrounded by brilliant minds. Your mom says all the time, we are each other's vision boards,
Yes.
right? And I've never personally ever been in a space where that is absolutely true, surrounded by vision boards. And I came into the vision retreat like feeling, and I think ultimately this is the part of the source of why I never made a social media post until recently. And it was this idea that I wasn't sure that I had something to say. I could say things, I know things, I'm intelligent, I have all my degrees, so on and so forth. But do I have something to share that provides value and impact? And there are several wonderful EBS members who helped me to very quickly realize that yes, of course I do, of course I have a voice, and that's been and that transformation, like, I can't even describe that it's the mental transformation. Something clicked, and it just revealed, and you can't unsee it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And so here we are.
Here we are. Okay. And then, so what has being in the business school made possible for you? So let's talk like intangible wins and intangible wins. I know one of the intangible ones was like the mindset shift that you had.
Absolutely. There are, we're all like onions. There's lots and lots of layers, right? I mean, in terms of hard and concrete facts, I opened my practice. When I joined EBS, like, I literally, on the day that I made, right, 13 months ago, when I said I'm going to open my own practice, I came home, I looked at my husband and I said, honey, we're doing this. I need Dr. Una. I knew. Like, I literally came home and said, I got to join EBS. Like, now is the time, because I had been sitting on it. I wasn't ready. I'm here, there, everywhere. And I came home that night, and I think, like, I immediately signed up for my discovery call with Makita. Like, it was like that. And so and then from there, everything just fell into place. I said, okay, well, what is my time frame? I said, well, I just picked a day. How about, you think I can do this in 6 months? It's like October-ish, November, April 1st. And then I was like, okay, now let's work backwards from that. Let's work back. How do I open a practice going backwards, like from the date that it's supposed to open? and EBS provided the scaffolding for that. Like um being able to, there's a lot, and I worked a full-time job and also locums during that, right?
Mhm.
And I'm a mother of a 5-year-old, then 4-year-old. And so it, I felt like I had to become superwoman a little bit.
Yeah.
But I had, you know, the wings were lifted by the
By
EBS
the
family.
EBS family. That's
That's right.
amazing. And then,
Yeah.
so on that note, EntreMD has a lot of things. It has, it has the business school, it has PPPM. So I would like to invite you, who is listening, to book a call with us so that we can figure out what is best for you. So you can go to entremd.com/success. Dr. Shanta mentioned that she immediately booked her discovery call with Ms. Makita. And so you have the option to do that as well. So it's entremd.com/success so that you can book your call and so that we can help you figure out what is going to be best for you. And then so
You
for
won't
my
regret it.
you will not regret it. That's what she said. You won't regret it. And then so for my question, how has owning a private practice affected your personal life?
In all of the best ways. It's impacted everything, right? Um so my husband and I, we have a wonderful relationship, and that this practice has made it even stronger. And it's not just a sense of pride, it's the way that we function together, right,
Mm-hmm.
as a unit. And then my daughter, and what she sees, and how she interacts. I think it's changed everything, if I'm being honest. The way that I you know see myself, the way it's um it's different. I can't quite describe, but it's great.
That's great. Yeah. And I know Dr. Una talks a lot about building the dream business and building the dream life. And, one of the wins that you just now talked about was the incredible relationship that you have with your husband. So could you expand a little bit more on that? Because I know you said you guys had a great relationship, and then opening the private practice made it
Mhm.
even better. So,
Yeah. So he plays a very, very pivotal, I would say pivotal roles, plural, in this practice. He is very much involved in, not so much the clinical stuff, but really some of the backbones of the operation. And
mhm.
he's absolutely incredible. But I think what it did too was it opened up the possibilities. you know if we could do this, which seems, 2 years ago seemed impossible, and then improbable, and then possible, and then probable, and then, right,
Mhm.
certain. If we could do that, what what else can we do? What can't we do?
Yeah.
And, like, in terms of dreaming and goal setting, and, okay, what's our 2-year plan? What's our 5-year plan? Where do we see ourselves in 10? you know you had this idea, let's go for it. And um everything is a little bit brighter, everything is more exciting. We're also more present, I think. It's You would think that starting a private practice, that you would spend all your time on the practice, and you do spend a lot of time. But I spend I when I am home, my time is my family time, right? um my daughter does not say, where's mommy? And I think that, we highly value and covet our time together. Um and and just being present. And it doesn't mean that we're, out to eat or on a vacation, but, like,
Mhm.
we are together.
Yeah.
And that time is just for that time. And I think that that's been really, really, really valuable
It's
for us.
amazing. Yeah. And On that note, I was with my mom a few days ago, and she has this thing called Meet Week. So it's like my meaningful time with kids. And so all of us were together, and I was like, yo, it's been a second since, we've had a Meet Week. And she was like, what are you talking about? And so I was under the impression that Meet Week is okay, we're going out to go eat. And she was like, no, it's just the time that we have together where we're all together spending time. And so I think just because of her like explaining that, any time that we have with her has just become more valuable because it doesn't mean necessarily okay we're going to go eat or we're going to go on vacation. It's I am standing here, I am present with my family, and we're spending time together. So
Mhm.
that's been amazing. I'm glad to see that that's in your life as well. So if you
Absolutely.
could teach a struggling private practice owner one thing, what would it be?
I think it would be I think it would be to start with from a place of honesty with yourself first, and those around you, right? Um, like take a very honest look at what it is, like do an audit essentially. Like, what is it exactly that you are struggling with?
Mm-hmm.
Is it, you know, is it the patient volume? Is it staff? Is it revenue? Right? Are you insurance based? Are you cash? Like whatever is going on, but like do it, and it can be that there are multiple things. Maybe your schedule isn't full, not because patients aren't calling to come in, but because of a staffing issue. Like you have to become crystal clear about we're physicians, right? Diagnosing the disease. Like what
Mm-hmm.
is it? What is the diagnosis? And sometimes there can be layers to it. It can be multifactorial, but the moment that you become honest and crystal clear about it, and then make swift decisions and changes, um that's
That's
everything.
everything.
That's everything.
That's amazing.
And EBS will help with that.
UBS will help with that. So book a call on trendy.com/success. Bam. She's on my side. Okay. And then, so how can people find you and follow you? Because I would like to find and follow you.
Absolutely. So I am on Instagram. My practice has an Instagram page as well, but please feel free to reach out and shoot me a message. I'm also on LinkedIn. Less active on LinkedIn than I am on Instagram, but say
Say
hi.
hi. Say hi. All right. And so I definitely will be following you. I think I actually already do follow you, but the practice page I don't follow, so I'll do that as well. And
Okay.
so, to everybody who is watching, thank you so much for watching. And Dr. Shanta said something earlier that when she's talking to people, that she does not want to be their best kept secret. And that is the same for this podcast. Please do not allow this podcast to be your best kept secret. So, if you know another private practice doctor who you think this podcast will help, then I just want to give you this, call to action to just share it with them. Share it with, any private practice, they're just about to start their practice, or they've been in their practice for a really long time, or they feel like they're struggling, with team, or with, managing whatever it is that they're managing. Go ahead and share this episode and this podcast with them. And so I just want to say thank you so much for watching. And Dr. Shepherd, thank you so much for coming on. It has been a pleasure interviewing you.
It has been such a pleasure, Cheta. Thank you so much. I appreciate your
Thank
time.
you. Okay, and we will see you next time.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And we will see you next time.